Welcome to the Go Grava channel. All right, folks, I haven't made a video in a bit because there's been so much negative news in the cycling industry that I just got tired of all the negativity. And what I'm going to do here today is I'm just going to rehash Go Grava for 2025. And it finally came to me recently why I even started down this journey. If you didn't know anything about me, you know I'm second year into opening a retail store, brick and mortar bike shop, trying to survive. Started the Go Grava brand 3 years ago. Now we're just completing our second year in business and having a go at it in the worst possible time. And I'm going to tell you, I did it for a reason. And I really have had a hard time explaining why I've done this. And I think I've finally found the answer to that, and I'm going to tell everybody what that is in the most calm and meaningful way possible, because it's not just, this just doesn't impact me. This is going to have a tremendous impact. There's a tremendous change coming for all of small business, and a very possibly could be a very positive change for you as a small business owner, possibly. And I'll tell you what my reasoning was and all of that. But before we get to that, let's just go through 2025 and the numbers real quick. Now, I won't give you the specific numbers, but basically we did almost 1,400 service repairs in the shop, which was fantastic because first year was awful. Second year, thank God we made it through second year. We did a ton of service work. I had a pretty good, and then towards the end of season, we had a pretty good October. It was, a little bit higher than 2024's October. Doubled in November what we normally do in November. For some reason, November was a humongous month for us. And then December, we were actually like $200 below December of 2024, which I don't understand that. But we had a worse December than I did last year. That was the only month out of the entire month on my second year that was worse than the first year month. So I don't know what's going on there. Revenue was good enough to make a paycheck throughout the year. Good enough to pay back probably $110,000 worth of credit owed to creditors for purchasing all of these things that are in this bike shop, which is just so expensive. Like, I didn't come into this naive at all. I came in with a lot of my own personal money, and even that was not even enough to run a retail store. So at least as rapidly and as quickly as I wanted to. So overall, pretty positive, but we're thin. I am super thin this winter here in January and February. It's really thin right now. Going into the bad news, like, I've had one of my reps from one of the companies say that if 26 isn't any better than 25, like, he could lose like 30% of his bike shops. If you're one of those bike shops, like, man, I feel for you. What saved us was all the e-bike work. But even then in 25, like, I lost a lot of money because I had to experiment with trying different things and we lost money. So, I was able to pay myself, let's say I was able to pay myself a minimum wage salary is what me and the other Aaron got paid for 2025. It was not a lot of money. But it's second year business, right? Second year, you don't even start hitting your stride till after the third year. We did so well this second year that I'm pretty confident, almost confident enough to expand, but talk to somebody I know who has a ton of experience in retail, especially the bike industry, and was told, do not expand. And they're probably right. I do think if I expanded just into the e stuff, like, I think I'd be okay. But right now the banks aren't lending. Lending is super tight. Like, even though it feels like the stock market's up and everything, just lenders are just not putting out money to new businesses. I'm probably the riskiest asset out there. So getting a hold of money is not an easy thing for me as a new business. But it's good though, because if we just increase sales by 30% for 2026, which I think we will. I think 30% is on the low end. That'll get me right to where I thought this bike shop would be, which gets me to a normal salary. I mean, that's all I'm missing is this additional boost this additional top part of the revenue to hit the salary. Right now, the rent's paid, the bills are paid, all those things are paid, but salary is tight. And it will continue to be tight until the season picks back up in March. So that's how Go Grava's been for 2025. So what do I think is going to happen in 2026? Well, I think there's a lot of interesting things that are going to happen in 2026. But before we get to that, I'm going to try to do this. I've been struggling with something for a long time now, which is explaining, exactly why would somebody choose to just dump a bunch of money into a bike shop when everybody knows that it's the worst place to invest your time and money. Everybody says that all the time. Worst place to invest your time and money. You make no money. It's pointless doing it. But I did it anyways. So I'm going to try to do this and think through it on the fly here as quick as I can, or not as quick as I can. I'm going to take my time and think through this, but I'm going to tell you what I think's coming and what I saw in 2022. All right. So back in the fall of 2022, I sat down and did a pretty serious analysis of my own life, not just business, but life. I asked myself a simple question. How do I make a living in my 50s and 60s in a world that's clearly changing? And when I zoomed out far enough, a few things became obvious to me. One of the first was the realignment of trade and influence in the Western Hemisphere. That's what I saw back in 2022, especially between the US and Latin America. We're watching that play out right now. Supply chains, manufacturing, labor, energy. That wasn't me guessing, it was direction. That's what I saw coming. And underneath all of that, I felt something else shifting too. So let me pause because I got to think about this a bit. Now, I'm not full of shit or anything like that, and excuse my language. I mean, I did write this all down in blogs. I mean, you can go on my website, go to gograva.com, go to location, look at guides. You can go back and look at everything I was talking about when it comes to Latin America way, years ago. But something's changed. Around that same time that I was doing this, AI tools started getting meaningfully better. Not flashy, but useful. And I had this feeling I couldn't quite explain, right? Like that once these tools matured, they wouldn't just change jobs, they would change what counted as value, right? What counted as value? Not just jobs, but what was value? I've been using AI every day since then. I've used ChatGPT to think, to plan, to write, to pressure test ideas that have taken me days before. It's a powerful tool. But here's what became clear very quickly. AI did not replace the work, right? It removed the friction around the work, which meant the work itself had to justify its existence again. So with software, we've been abstracting since, say, 2000. COVID pushed everything toward even further abstraction. Remote everything, platform everything, scale at all costs, software, and for a while it worked. I mean, after the dot-com bubble, it worked. But abstraction has a hidden weakness, right? It separates decisions from consequences because you're so far removed. And now we're seeing these stress fractures, right? What's hurting large corporations today is fragile supply chains, bloated structures, over-optimization. That's also hurting small businesses in a certain way, but not the same way, right? Because where big systems break, Small systems bend. I opened a bicycle shop not because retail was safe. Let's be straight about that. It's very risky, but because it was real. Retail is real. Real people, real experiences. And for almost 2 years now, I've lived that reality every single day, right? I'll use AI in the morning, and I'll fix bikes in the afternoon back here. I'll automate what I can. And then I'll deal with weather, broken parts, crashes, people standing in front of me in the store needing help now. That's when everything from 2022 finally lined up in 26 here, in the very beginning of the year. The abstract economy that we've had wasn't disappearing, it was losing leverage, or it is losing leverage. Here's what I think is actually happening. The part of the economy built on abstraction, on distance, on dashboards, on tools, right? Masquerading as value is fading. And the reality economy is coming back. The real economy, the economy where things break, where trust matters, where judgment can't be outsourced. My bike shop isn't special. There's nothing special about this. It's just a very clean example of what I think is going to be happening and what has been happening over these past couple of years. What doesn't disappear, no matter how advanced software gets, bikes still break, right? People still crash. Repairs still require experience. Communities still have to be built in person, not remotely, but in person. Somebody has to lead that ride. Somebody has to teach that person how to use and ride a bike. Someone has to stand behind the outcomes. The work doesn't scale cleanly like the software does, right? Or the abstract economy, but it survives every economic cycle. This isn't nostalgia, it's timing. Small business matters now because when tools become cheap, judgment or experience becomes expensive. Trust becomes valuable. Presence matters again. Large corporations are struggling right now because they optimize for abstraction. Small businesses survive because they never left reality. So in closing, for me, all of this came together right now in 2026. After years of using AI, after living retail for the last 2 years, after watching global trade shift exactly the way I thought it was going to shift, the way I thought it was going to look in 2022, it became very obvious, especially with AI. Software is becoming free. And that's not a crisis, because software was never the value. Reality was the value, and it still is today.